I look back at this history, and I just watched the 10-parter. I see this from a modern NBA viewpoint. There was a way they could have solved this. And I think so much of the discord came from the situation with Scottie Pippen, where if you would have just given Pippen an extension a couple years earlier,
right?
Like, you don't even have to do like a 5-year giant contract. You could have done 3 years. 3 years, $15 million a season. He would have been happy, and then that whole thing goes away. Plus, I think it was pretty obvious, like in watching this, that Krause was trying to turn the team over before they got old, and he couldn't get anything for the stars, right? Like you sometimes if you wait 1 year too long, now your contracts are big and bloated, and you can't turn over, and it takes 5 years longer to rebuild, right? But you still could have done it if you did a short-term extension with Pippen where you paid him kind of a lot of money,
right?
He still would have been tradable.
What about
they had a trade with Boston that they said no to because they wanted to give a chance that 6th run, but like that trade would have been there the next year.
What about this, Ramona Shelburne here on the Rich Eisen Show? I mean, as long as we're getting in the DeLorean here, right, and we're going back in time and we set the date to try and change history here. Why not? Because to me, one of the more shocking moments of The Last Dance was Reinsdorf basically recounting him telling Pippen, don't sign this contract, right? Yeah. And he's the one that could have at any point in time told Jerry Krause, Jerry, this is ridiculous. We're pissing off somebody who's crucially important to us, and I want to, and I know I'm breaking precedents, and I might be making your job a little bit tougher with other people, but this is Scottie Pippen we're talking about. Extend him. Let's pay him. Let's make sure he's happy. What about doing that when Jordan retires for the first time? And saying, Scotty, you know where you're being underpaid, and now we're asking you to take over for Michael friggin' Jordan. How about we go back in the DeLorean and give him the contract extension and make him whole? Then he might be getting off the bench with 1.4 seconds to go, and he's on the floor when Kukoc makes the shot. Then maybe he's not going to wait till the very last second to get surgery before the last dance. Maybe he's not going to fall apart. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting because, like, I actually understand Reinsdorf's point, which was like, he warned him. He said, don't do – and he actually did the same thing with Jordan, by the way. When Jordan did that contract, he said, this is going to end up being a bad deal for you. If I know where the NBA is going, I know where revenue is going. You shouldn't do this, but if you sign this, I don't want to hear from you again. And he said, to Michael's credit, he never heard from him. Michael would grouse about it. I mean, I know people covered the team back then, and they said, Michael would say, he was underpaid for a long time. I'm going to get mine. I'm going to get, and he did. Okay. I mean, think about this. The salary cap at that year, 98, Rich, $61.6 million. Michael Jordan made over $30 million. I think he made 33 that year. Okay. That's more than half the salary. Oh, sorry. So that was the Bulls' salary. Okay, now 61.6. So he made more than half of what the rest of the team made. The NBA salary cap for the entire team was $26.9 million. So Michael made more as one player than the entire salary cap for most teams. Right? Woo. Okay. Now there are those who would say, well, that's kind of like the Warriors this past year. I mean, if they would have kept Durant and Steph, Draymond, Clay, that could have been a $400 million team. And the Warriors would have paid it because that's what you pay that money to keep a championship team together. But it's a little different, and I don't like to tell billionaires how to spend their money. I don't like to tell anybody, okay? It's a little different when the players are older, coming off a lot of injuries, right? It is. It's like you don't feel as nervous investing in Draymond Green and Klay Thompson and Durant. Now, they all got hurt in the finals, okay? So, yeah, you do a little bit. But they're younger. You still feel like they have more of their prime. I mean, this is more like giving Chris Paul a big contract. This is more like giving somebody who's like in that last max contract a big deal. And I know that's a little riskier just based on their ages. And so, your point's right. Like they could have just extended Pippen and done the right thing by him. But I think there was a sort of principle to it that, they warned him. They said, don't do that. We're not going to renegotiate. I think that just might be how they do business. And,
it's a unique way to do business, right? Ramona. It's a unique way to do business. Yeah. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.